Hello and welcome back. We're on the final leg now, so it's now almost 4 o'clock. We go to around 6:30, 6:45. Thanks everyone that's taken part so far. Thanks to everyone that has donated. Got some great sessions coming up. We've got Lucy Woods, who's going to be doing some mindfulness with us, introduction to mindfulness. Lucy's from her business Presence of Mind. She'll be joining soon at 4 o'clock. We have Team Easy Fares that are going to be doing a take on BBC's top comedy show, Would I Lie to You? And then speaking to Lee Ali from Expo Stars Unplugged. And we're going to then be joined by Leah Volpe, who's going to be doing some singing at around 5:20. I meet Kate Conway of Meeting Needs, one of the beneficiaries of EventWell at 5:45. And then to finish off, we've got a yoga session with Becca Brown featuring a couple of event professionals from 19 Group, David Bishop and Eleanor Hall. So I will be back with you in a few minutes, so bear with me. So next up is Lucy Woods. I'm going to be doing some mindfulness. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play a track that Christian Larsman from Terrapin has just recently released. He's a musician, but also a business development manager at Terrapin. And it's a song about going through a difficult time mentally. So hope you will enjoy this.
Keep the curtains closed. Don't want anyone to know. You're sleeping in your clothes, and you're not answering your phone. I see you numbing the pain, it won't go away. I know you're looping the same thoughts again and again. You feel like you're stuck in a place, you lost all your faith. Will you surrender? On the other side of this moment is a reason to keep going. On the other side of this moment is a reason to push through. Stay you, stay true. Stay you, stay true. Oh. You pass a place it all went wrong. See how far you've come. There's gonna be a time when this is all behind you. You're finally moving on, and you're glad to be alive. Oh, I see you numbing the pain, it won't go away. I know you're looping the same thoughts again and again. You feel like you're stuck in a place, you lost all your faith. Embrace your surrender, 'cause you're stuck in a place, it's time to escape. Embrace your surrender. On the other side of this moment is a reason to keep going. On the other side of this moment is the reason to push through. Oh. On the other side of this moment is the reason to keep going. On the other side of this moment is the reason to push through. Stay you, stay true. Stay you, stay true. Stay you, stay true. Stay you, stay true. Stay you, stay true.
So that was the song The Other Side by Christian Larsman of Terrapin. So next up, I'm going to be bringing on Lucy Woods. Hey, Lucy.
Hi, Dan. Nice to see you.
I know that I don't think you're feeling 100% today, but thank
I've got
you.
the dreaded Rona.
Yeah. we thank you for making the effort to coming on.
I'm not too
How you
bad. I'm not
feeling?
too bad. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I do have a little bit of brain fogginess. I've got a couple of notes here just in case. I usually do it without, but I thought just in case my brain kind of fails a little bit. And you can
Sure.
hear I'm a little bit croakier than normal, but
You are.
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine.
Okay, well, we wish you better. Appreciate you coming on. So I think maybe we're going to have how you want to do this, but we're going to should we have a quick chat?
Sure.
And then we'll sort of jump off, and then you can talk a bit more about what you do and mindfulness. And then I think you're going to do a little session for us.
Yeah.
So just tell me about, I guess to start off with, Lucy, how you got into this, and talk to me about presence of mind and your journey, your story, because I think it's an interesting one if you don't mind telling it.
No, not at all. I did already think that it's quite important part of
Yeah.
how I got to be a mindfulness teacher in the first place. But I had been in media like yourself for well 25 years. I was in the media world working for a couple of big publishing houses. Not the easiest environment to work
Yeah.
in as far as stress goes. But even if we're going back before then, I'd always been quite an anxious. At the earliest, I think, as a teenager, I really recognised it, and wrong with me. I don't think I'm alone in that as a teenager, but I sort of felt very different from other people. And then I wanted to be a singer, and I went to music college for 4 years, and I ended up getting tuberculosis of all things. So I had a lung operation, and it meant that I actually had to not be a singer after 4 years of training to do that. I went and got what my dad would call a proper job, and so ended up in that world for many years. But I always had this kind of low level anxiety, and it affected loads of areas of my life, my relationships. I tend to kind of sabotage a lot of them, and I just I think I got it very confused with depression. So if other people listening do suffer from anxiety, um, it can be really easily confused with depression because it's so exhausting being anxious all the time. So your mood is low. So I felt like I was down here and other people were kind of ticking along up here somewhere. So I had meds, I had therapy, and they both have their place and helpful. But what I soon realized was I knew why I was like I was. I'd come to terms with all the things, but actually, what I needed now was a tool that changed things going forward, because all of these struggles I was having were like habits. Anxiety actually is something we get used to, we get good at, we practice it again and again, and it becomes a habit. So, mindfulness is a tool that I discovered for myself, for my personal practice, that helped to relieve or to retrain my brain to behave in a different way. And it completely changed my life. So then when I got made redundant, I was just about to say, luckily, when I got made redundant, I really
Yeah,
do feel that way.
you look back now and think it's a lucky thing, right?
Ye Well, I worked in HR and training, so I knew it was coming. So I had a bit of
Right.
time to sit there and sort of go,
Yeah.
right, what do I want to do? I've spent 20 years training people, and here's this amazing, incredible tool I want to share with the world, because it changed my life. And so that's what I did. I trained to be a mindfulness teacher. It wasn't enough. I then did a master's, which I've just done a 4-year master's
Yeah,
at the Centre for
congratulations.
Mindfulness Research. That's in Bangor University. So yeah, it's just an incredible thing. I now work with individuals. I work with public groups. I work in corporate. I work with loads of charities, because it brings such kind of respite from our busy minds, from our struggles with day-to-day life. Because life's not easy, is it?
And I think, it's become definitely more sort of prevalent, front and center, mainstream, isn't it? With lots of different apps and obviously teachers like yourself. And I think also during the pandemic, I guess you did lots of sort of online sessions,
Yeah.
and it's so much more accessible now.
It is, and I think people are starting to realise that it's not what we term woo woo. It's not this kind of weird alternative thing. There's so much research to show its effectiveness. I mean, two studies, there was one about 10 years ago that showed that mindfulness based cognitive therapy was at least as effective as antidepressants for preventing relapsing depression. And a few weeks ago, another study for mindfulness based stress reduction showed that it's at least as effective as the leading anti anxiety med, escitalopram. I think Lepraxo is its other common
Yeah.
name. So, I'm not saying that meds aren't helpful, but you know, that it's worth having this in your locker too, you know, that this is a
Sure.
tool worth having.
So do you want to, should I jump off and you're going to chat a bit and then maybe do a bit of a session? Is that right?
Yeah, that's great. Is my internet connection all right, Dan?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
looking at your map of the world behind you and
Oh
thinking,
yeah.
where would I like to go?
I-
I've
In
been stuck on
lockdown,
this seat for 11 hours.
yeah, in lockdown, I stole the kids' playroom, and this was there. It's now my office. I've completely
Ah,
commandeered it. So yeah,
right. I will be
it's a
listening in, so I'll jump in when you're ready.
brilliant.
So go as long as you feel you need to. We've got another session on at around 4:30, but feel free
Yeah,
to stop whenever you feel like it. But I'll jump off. Thanks, Lucy.
brilliant, Dan. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks. So yeah, as I was alluding to, this being a human business isn't easy, and you know, it's testament to people like Dan to help to raise money to show how important our well-being is, our mental health particularly. I think we spend a lot of time, or more time, I should say, looking after our bodies, going to the gym, thinking about what food we consume, and much less time treating our minds with the same kind of respect and the same, realizing they need the same, or not the same needs, but they have their own kind of unique set of needs as well. And that's what I want people to think of. It's like going to the gym for your head. Mindfulness. We are training our brains. That's my other name. I call myself a brain trainer, because essentially we are creating new pathways in the brain of new ways of being and responding to life's difficulties, because this stuff that we come up against in life, the stresses of day-to-day living, they're quite overwhelming. And especially if we think about, you know, we are incredible, our brains are incredible, we are the apex predator without being the strongest or fastest or having the sharpest teeth. It's because we have these brains that have an ability to problem solve, and it's enabled us to create this world that we live in now, and to have not just the buildings and the warmth and the comfort and all the technology that we've created, but you know, this ability to play and have fun and find joy in life as well, which, as far as we know, well, we see it in some animals, but not to the same extent. But all our functions, if you like, our development, evolutionarily, if that's a word, it all evolved to deal with a world that was vastly different from the one we're in now. One without the internet, without technology, one in which we had a lot of downtime, and our day-to-day stresses might have been the odd saber-toothed tiger or a neighboring tribe invading our tribe. But we had a lot of time to kind of to be. We weren't in doing mode all the time. And now everywhere we look, busyness seems to be like a status symbol. We glorify it. People say, "Oh, how are you?" "Yeah, I'm really busy. I'm really busy." You know, it seems to be a thing that if we are not doing all the time, then somehow that's a bit wrong with us. But of course, in this world where we have access to information, where we can buy shoes at 3 o'clock in the morning, where we can um, watch a Netflix documentary, you know, every episode without having to wait. It's just instant, and it enables us to just be constantly stimulated without any downtime at all. And that has become a habit. And when I speak to people about resting and stopping, there's weird kind of sense, we all have it, of maybe feeling a bit guilty for stopping, or the body doesn't know what to do with itself, you know, and particularly in the younger generation, not knowing how to be bored, how to just stop. Um, and yet we need it. Our minds cannot deal with, and it's not just our minds, it's the physiological symptoms created by stress. Um, we course this adrenaline and cortisol, these difficult chemicals, through our bodies when we get stressed. We can't sustain it. So we need to find out a way of kind of reverse engineering, a way of having some tools to be able to manage our busy lives, and build in some downtime, some time to take care of ourselves. So if we think about our brains and what they're doing, our default mode is actually to mind wander. So if we were doing nothing at all, the mind goes off somewhere else. And it generally goes into the past, or into the future. So we call this kind of mental time travel. Now, sometimes that's okay, right? We want to think about things that have happened, maybe a nice holiday, or we want to plan what we're going to do in our presentation next week. And those kind of things, fine. But often we're taken somewhere that's not helpful, a place of regret, a place of shoulda, coulda, woulda, or a place of what if this happens into the future, and creating some, future scenario. Now, the mind is not very good at telling the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And therefore, each time I create in my mind a difficult scenario, like, oh, supposing this happens, and it's a worry for me, my body will respond as if it's happening now, as if perhaps that saber-toothed tiger is coming, or I'm about to be ejected from the tribe, or whatever one of these primitive features is activated. And so we get all the symptoms. The heart starts racing, perhaps, or the stomach churning, tension in the body, adrenaline rushing to get us to run or punch, in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. And unfortunately, we seem to not have much agency over this. This stuff seems to happen automatically. And the more we practice it, the stronger it gets, right? So what we practice grows stronger, which is brilliant if we want to learn a new language or to play the piano or some other helpful skill. But it's not so helpful when what we're practicing is worry, anger, road rage, frustration, and we get more and more adept at that. And they become patterns of behavior that feel automatic. And they're happening under the surface without even us choosing them. They seem to just happen. And I'm sure we can all relate to that sense of, oh, that's the way I am. We often identify ourselves with comments like, I'm an anxious person. I probably said that in my opening gambit with Dan. And that can help to sort of perpetuate it by defining ourselves as that. So I suppose one of the most helpful things we can do to begin with is to recognize that it's not that I, Lucy, am anxious, but that my body and my mind tend to respond in an anxious way, or an angry way, or a distracted way. These are habits that we've formed or ways that our brains work, and we can practice recognizing that, becoming aware of what we're doing as we're doing it, so that we can choose a different way. So, just skipping over the bit that says with my story, which I wrote a little bit. And there's this other sense that we as humans have, which is that we have this kind of itch we can't scratch quite a lot, that life is kind of somewhat unsatisfactory, that it was supposed to be like this. I was supposed to be more like that, less like that, or I want to be more like that and less like that. And we spend a lot of time trying to be the person we think we ought to be, or to have the life that we think we ought to have. And, sometimes that's a bit of a futile struggle. Obviously, if there are things that are within our control, brilliant, let's try and do that. But what I want to recognize is that lots of the stuff that happens to us in our lives is completely outside of our control. That we try to keep hold of and to make things kind of fit into how we want them to be. And then we get really disappointed when they don't go to plan. And that can make us unhappy, frustrated, that can cause worry. And if we think about things like, life is going along like this, and then something like tuberculosis comes along, my life went on a completely different trajectory. I managed to say that word. Uh, I like that. And of other events in my life, I also planned to have a baby with my partner, and we split up when I was pregnant. So here was my life. Boom! Again, it changed course without, overnight, without really realizing. Well, I saw this path, and all of a sudden, I've got no idea how I'm going to get through and what's going to happen next. And events like this will happen to us along the way, and they can really severely affect our mental health the more we try and think our life is supposed to go a certain way. So we're retraining our brains, to recognize that the one thing that we have agency over is not anything out there that happens to us, but the way in which we respond to what happens to us, that is within our power. That's the key thing, really. So it comes down to two things. So the knowing that if we know what we're doing as we're doing it, which is essentially mindfulness practice, okay, we're going to choose to pay attention to what's happening as it's happening. Then we get to choose, is what I'm doing helpful or is it unhelpful? Is it supporting my well-being? Is this a helpful strategy that I've chosen? Or actually, am I kind of contributing to my unhappiness, to my unsatisfactoriness? And might there be another way? So, what is mindfulness then? Quickly, I better go into that bit. That seems quite important now. But I just wanted to kind of build some context around it's kind of not our fault that we struggle, that the world is pretty bonkers in relation to how we were evolved to manage. So, what can we do? So I mentioned this kind of brain training. So the definition of mindfulness is generally something along the lines of the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So we're paying attention to our experience without kind of saying whether it's right or wrong, good or bad. And we cultivate that through meditation practices. And that's Dan was saying about it being more acceptable, more mainstream these days, meditation. And of course, there are many different types of meditation. Now, some of them have an objective perhaps for relaxation or to achieve some other altered state. But mindfulness meditation is very much about just noticing what is happening in this moment right now. So it may be that even as sitting here, you can feel your feet on the floor, the base of the body on the chair, the breath coming in and out of the body. And the reason that we use those aspects of our experience is because they're always with us. Yeah, so we're training our attention to be more present. So what's so good about the present moment? Well, we know that when we're present, we're not mentally time traveling, but B, we are happier in the present than when we're mind wandering. And you don't have to take my word for that. Extensive research from Harvard University has done that for me. A big study where they developed an app that was sent to thousands of people, and they'd ping them at certain times through the day, and they would ask them three things. What are you thinking about? So what are you doing? Sorry, what are you thinking about? And also they got them to score their mood. Now, unsurprisingly, almost 50% of the time people were thinking about something other than what they were doing. Probably more, but it was self-reported. But the interesting thing was people rated themselves as happier when they were present with what they were doing. Even when they'd mind wandered into something pleasant, like a memory of a holiday, they still preferred to be present. And of course, you may relate to that. There may be a hobby or an activity that you like to do that you feel really present with, in that flow state. It might be something like knitting or painting or playing a musical instrument or swimming, some form of exercise. But of course, these aren't always available to us when we're at the point of meeting a stressor. So the breath, the body, they're always with us. And it means we can access this ability to steady ourselves, which is ultimately what we practice for, not just for the respite of the meditation itself, but to practice training our brain so that we can manage in day-to-day life, so that we get more adept at catching our reactions to the stresses and then get to choose what to do next. So it's helpful to probably just do a little bit of practice. So I'm going to guide a short meditation, a few minutes of meditation, just so you can get a flavor of what that's like. And yeah, if you're going to follow along, then I would advise perhaps you have your feet on the floor, have your hands resting somewhere comfortably, find a posture that's kind of upright and alert, but comfortable. And there's two key things about this practice. One is that the mind is going to wander, because minds always wander. We're not trying to stop that. So there's a big myth with meditation that we're supposed to clear our minds. So let me dispel that one for you right now. No, mind wandering is what we are noticing. So that's part of the practice. We'll pay attention to, let's say, our feet on the floor, and then we'll find ourselves thinking about the shopping, or last Thursday, or that meeting next Tuesday. And each time we notice the mind wanders, we bring it back again to wherever we're paying attention. And we might have to do that over and over again, and that's okay. The way we do it is friendly but deliberate. This non-judgmental, mind has wandered, let's come back again. So that's rule number 1, not getting frustrated with the fact the mind will wander off. And rule number 2 is if anything doesn't feel okay, then don't do it. You have complete choice, complete agency over where to put your attention. And if you want to stop, if anything doesn't feel okay for you, then that becomes the most important thing. So I'm going to invite us all to take a pause. Dan has had a busy day, so perhaps this might be beneficial for you too, to just take a moment. So you can either have eyes closed or open. If you're opening them, perhaps just look away from the screen, soften the gaze. And we're imagining that we have like a spotlight on the body as it's sitting, or perhaps you're choosing to go and lie down for this short practice. But we're getting a sense of what we can feel in the body. So perhaps we might notice whether the body feels warm, whether it feels cool. Perhaps we get a sense of the shape of the body, the bend at the hips and the knees and the ankles maybe. Getting a sense of the outline of the body. So instead of thinking about the body, we're turning our attention to what the body feels like in this moment. And let's move our spotlight just to the feet for a moment. Perhaps we can specifically feel whether the feet are warm or cool, how they make contact with the floor. Maybe feeling the shoes or socks around them. And of course, when the mind wanders, which it surely will, choosing to bring the attention back to the feet on the floor. We might have to do this over and over again. What do they feel like? And then choosing to bring the attention just to where the body makes contact with whatever we're sitting on. The weight of the body on the chair, whatever it's resting on. What can we feel here? And then maybe, if it feels okay, just choosing to notice the fact that we're breathing. So real encouragement to not try and breathe in any special way. Just notice the feel of the breath coming into the body and coming out again. And when the mind starts thinking about breathing or thinking about something entirely different, each breath is an opportunity to just begin again, to invite this attention to come back here, to this moment, to breathing in and breathing out again. And even though the mind might be very scattered and jumping around, our job is just to recognize, there's the scattered mind. How might I bring the attention back here again? So this breath is always available to us if we need to just take a moment to stop, to pause, feel our bodies sitting, feel the body breathing. Just going to invite everyone to start to open the eyes again. I'll just ring the bell once, just to signal the end of the practice. So it's interesting to just note how it feels to have taken a pause, particularly if we've had a very busy day up until now. And just knowing that, to finish with, that we do have this ability to change our brains. Neuroplasticity is an incredible thing. We once upon a time thought the brain was fixed, and we now know that we can change it, we can develop it. But it isn't a quick fix. One session or someone talking about it isn't enough. The experiential practice is everything. We have to keep firing these neurons together, these neural pathways, to practice over and over again. But as I titled this presentation, Finding Calm Amongst the Chaos, if we can, in the face of a difficulty, find our own sense of calm, then we're able to kind of manage life's challenges, life's stresses a bit more easily. So thank you very much for having me today, Dan.
Thank you, Lucy. That was fantastic. I was drifting off.
You probably needed a little bit of respite after your busy day so far.
Well, I've sort of been sitting around, so it's been busy, but like sitting, which is also, I find difficult.
Yeah, you probably need to have a little bit of a move.
So, but listen, it was really good. Thank you so much, especially that you're not feeling 100%. We wish you better.
No problem. Thank you.
With your COVID recovery. Hopefully, it's not going to be too bad. How can people reach you, Lucy, if they want to sort of contact you just for some advice or even a session or whatever? What's the best way?
Yeah, so as mentioned, my company name is Presence of Mind. So my website is presenceofmind.life. I'm also on Facebook. I've got a free Facebook group there. There's lots of stuff, lots of free resources. I'm running a mini course in there, free, next week. It's called A Mindful Life. Or Lucy Woods Mindfulness on Facebook or LinkedIn, Lucy Woods. I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere. Good.
Except
Everyone needs a bit of mindfulness.
TikTok. They do. And so, yeah, I'm more than happy to, I share a lot of resources. So if I can be of any help, and obviously I just want to encourage everyone to donate today, because that's what we're here for, right?
Absolutely.
Reminding people of the Just Giving link.
Well, funnily enough, during the session, we topped the 5K mark. So,
amazing.
You know, perhaps, hopefully, the mindfulness session inspired people to donate. So thank you so much for your time. Lucy Woods,
you're welcome. Thanks very much, Dan. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so what are we now for? We're about almost 8.5, 9 hours in. We're on the new stream, because I said LinkedIn only allows us to stream 4 hours at a time. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere else, and we're simultaneously live on 5 platforms. Just amazing news that we've actually now reached the 5K mark. So thank you for a couple of significant donations that just came in during that session. What I've done is up the target then to 5.5K, because why wouldn't I? Because we don't want to stop there, do we? So bit cheeky, but £250, get to the next target. We'll go up in increments of £250. And I'm going to bring on, we've got a great session coming up from a few of the team at Easy Fares. And I think they're all in the studio. Yeah, I can see them. So I'm going to bring on Shannon Kilgarriff first. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Dan. How you going? Congratulations on reaching the 5K. How amazing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, listen, other people donated it. I'm just here to facilitate it. But thank you. Nice to meet you. We've obviously been swapping emails over the last few days. And I've worn green. You told me to wear green. I've actually got a green background as well. I literally just changed during that session.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, yeah, my team should be coming on pretty soon. We're really excited to present Would Easy Fares Lie to You? So it should be fun. And bit of a different tempo from the last session, which was absolutely excellent. But we're going to...
Yeah, it was cool. We've had some really good sessions. There's some DJs and all sorts. So I'm going to bring the rest of the team on now. And actually, perhaps you can introduce them. So I'm going to bring on Beth. Hey, Beth.
Hey.
So, Shannon, I don't know if you want to introduce Beth, and then we got Luke, and then also I'm going to bring on Ali.
Absolutely. So, guys, I'm going to get started on today's session. So, hello and welcome to Would Easy Fares Lie to You? And this is a session where we will be separating the facts from the fibs in the events industry. So, as Dan said, I'm Shannon Kilgareth, the resident Easy Fares presenter. I believe content is king, so that's why I constantly get roped into creating these fun and interactive sessions. And I'm delighted to be a part of Event Relief today. So the way today is going to work is that we have two teams who will be sorting fact from fiction. We have Team Easy, who's in white, and Team Fares, who's in green. So joining us today from Team Easy is Divisional Managing Director Alison Willis and Head of Digital Revenue Luke Webster.
Hello, thanks for having us. We're very excited.
Very excited. Cheers, Dan.
Yeah, good.
And in Team Fares is our data wizard. That's not her actual title, but that's what I call her. Beth, welcome.
and that's data for anyone who's not Australian. Data.
Yeah,
translating.
You say data, I say data. Yeah, that's it.
I know. I constantly don't get taken seriously in any finance sort of meetings because of that. So. Anyway, let's begin. Would easy fares lie to you? So today we'll be doing event truths, where our panel members will read out a statement, and it's up to the opposing team and you guys as viewers as well to separate the facts from the fiction. So we encourage audience participation. Give us some likes, give us some shares, comments, whatever you like. And so it's up to the opposing team and viewers to separate these facts. So let's get started. First up, we have Team Easy, and Ali, you're going to go first.
I am going to go first. I'm not going to give too much away initially. It's just a statement, okay? So is it true or is it a lie? I gave an exhibitor a heart attack whilst rebooking his stand.
Wow.
So, guys, in this session, we are allowed to ask a few questions before we suddenly start accusing Ali of lying or telling the truth. So, who wants to ask Ali a question about this outrageous statement?
Was it an old or a young exhibitor? Fairly old, I would say. Fairly old.
And can I ask a question? I can't remember whose team I'm on. So what was happening at the time? Like, was it a new exhibitor? What was it? Was it like
It was a new event actually. So it was a launch event called Antwerp Excel. So there was a lot of pressure on the team. And it was day zero, so the day before build. Sorry, the build day, the day before open day. And we were, as a rebook team, going around and encouraging our very new exhibitors to re-sign for the following year.
Okay.
I mean, was this a dramatic heart attack or is it a quiet fall?
Can I say he's alive? So the outcome is fine.
And here he is.
I also tell you that I also got the signature on the contract.
I think that's the important. I think that's the important question that we're missing here. Is did you get the rebook and did you get the commission?
Oh yes. After he recovered and paramedics had been over and it was all deemed as safe, then yes, I did certainly get that signature on the contract.
So what happened directly after this alleged heart attack? Like, did he or she literally fall over, or? Like...
So he kind of dramatically grabbed his chest and started to heavy breathe, and that was when I called the paramedics over.
Okay. Okay. I should say it's quite a few people watching, so do put a comment up do comment on one of the socials, and I'll put it up on screen if you happen to comment. If you've joined late, Ali is just suggesting that she gave an exhibitor a heart attack while rebooking his stand. So we're trying to establish whether that's a truth or a lie. Beth, do you have another question?
I'm trying to go through.
You have no words.
You have no words.
Yeah, I mean, a bit speechless on this one. I
I mean, it sounds so outrageous, and I'm glad this person did survive, but it does sound a bit outrageous. So, I mean, I think Team Green, now is the time to kind of to say whether you think this is a truth or a lie.
I think it's so outrageous it's a truth.
Should we decide together, or can we have difference of opinion?
You need to decide as a team what you're going to go with.
I don't know, but I think it could be a double bluff, Beth. I think because it's so outrageous, I think Ali might be thinking, because it's so outrageous, they're definitely going to say it's true. And can I just ask one further question? Are you actually speaking to this person again?
Absolutely. I saw him at the exhibition only this year.
Did he rebook again?
We should have got them on today to give a testimonial.
Maybe he's here.
Oh, look, I've got a comment here from other Alison Church. Apparently, this is the effect that you have on men.
Oh, thanks, Ali. Good or bad, I don't know. Maybe that's...
And also, Laura suggested that's happened multiple times. So you've got a bit of a reputation going for you.
There is a reason that Alison Willis is amazing at rebooking.
Yeah. People just right, what should we say, Beth? You decide.
So what are we going to go for?
With how good Ali is at rebooking and that this person is still alive and going, I think it's true.
Okay, let's go for truth then.
So, Ali, was it a truth or was it a lie?
It was absolutely 100% the truth.
Way.
Can I just caveat to say that he thought it was a heart attack whilst it was happening, but it was more like a heart flutter, and it was, so he was okay. I just want everyone to know he's okay.
Right.
I mean, I did put quite a lot of pressure on him to sign the contract, but he is okay, and we are friends.
That is a story.
Absolutely. So well done, Ali, and well done, Team Green. You have 1 point. Next up, we have Beth from Team Fairs. Over to you.
Okay, so I was once working at an exhibition and I was mistaken as a pole dancer.
Oh, God. I mean, what's going on at Easy Fairs?
You don't want to know.
Caveat, this was
so nice
Easy
on LinkedIn
Fairs.
profile, you know.
Beth,
So have we got any questions from Team Whyte for Beth?
Beth, how did this sort of come around? Where was you? Was it billed? Was it part of the exhibition? How did they kind of take you?
Exhibition was live, and one of the stands, it was pre-Easy Fairs, and one of the stands at the event had pole dancers on it.
What event was this exhibition? Where were you?
I mean, I think most people have heard of ICE. ICE, which is based at Excel, yeah.
Right, okay.
So, yes. And yeah, I was leading our rebook office on site. I went over to get a contract edited from this particular stand. And while I was going onto the stand, they pushed me to the wrong room because they mistook what I was there for.
Can I ask, what were you wearing?
You can. I was actually wearing the pink suit that's on my LinkedIn. So it's a light pink suit, not particularly short. And for anyone that knows me, I'm 5'2". So that doesn't know me even. So I'm not particularly tall either.
And how did you respond? What was your reaction to this?
Yeah.
I, if I'm honest, I didn't realise what they were insinuating to start off with. I was shuffled off to this room with this room of other lovely ladies and multicoloured suits. And it wasn't until they were giving instructions to go out, I thought I was just waiting to see the CEO to get the contract re-signed. And it wasn't until they were shuffled outside that I was like, oh, this is not right. And I was so embarrassed that I just left the stand and I sent someone else to get the contract edited later.
And were all the other ladies of the same kind of stature and shortness as you? Or?
Must have been at least a half a foot taller. Probably some of them a foot taller. I'm particularly curvy, for those that don't know me. But it was quite nice to see that there were a range of body shapes. But yes, it was definitely the shortest by at least half a foot.
Did you go back over to this stand at all throughout the show?
No, I was far too embarrassed. I let someone else handle that stand. I didn't tell them why. I just requested that they deal with it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Have we got any other comments or questions for Beth, or should we accuse her of lying, or is she telling the truth?
I think I have all the evidence that I need to make a decision.
Brilliant. What do we think then, Ali and Luke? Is it a truth or is it a lie?
I'm going to go truth. There's so much detail in that story. Even like what you were wearing and the fact it's the same suit that you wear on LinkedIn. I'm going to have to go truth.
I was worried that it could be a double bluff of being too much knowledge that we're going to then assume it's true, but it might actually be a lie. But Beth, you was very convincing. I mean, you did go into a lot of detail. Okay, yeah, Ali, I'll go with you. We just say it's true.
True.
Okay, so Team Whyte think that it is true, and think that yes, Beth worked at an exhibition and got confused as a pole dancer. So Beth, is it a truth or is it a lie?
It is completely true.
Yay!
Matt,
been confused as a pole dancer while an exhibition.
That's a great story.
I'm getting a whole new insight.
Unbelievable story. Brilliant. So we've had two amazing stories so far. We are going over to our third person from Team Whyte, which is Luke. So Luke, over to you.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as glamorous as the first two, but I once sold my father a last-minute stand for my show just so I could hit my final revenue target.
There's definitely a theme there.
I think again, people are wondering, does this happen at Easy Fest?
I'll quote now, pre-Easy Fest.
I guess then my first question is, did he keep it signed past the cool-off period?
Good question.
He did 100%.
And what business was your father in?
It was actually a taps manufacturing business for the new homes. So I went to him to say, look, are you interested in taking a last-minute stand for me to help me out here? The business works. You manufacture taps which go into new builds. That's what the show's for. It's a perfect fit. And I'm able to offer it to you for a very, very cheap price. And maybe there was something for you at the end of it.
Luke is a Dell boy, apparently.
Oh, okay. So what's that? What was the something for him at the end of it?
Part of my commission.
How much was the commission?
Cool. I'm glad I'm not saying any company names now, but it was north of 3,000.
So you were able to reach your target, so that's great. And then you actually got split the commission with your dad.
Exactly. They didn't get the whole commission. There was a percentage element that I allowed him to take. But obviously, we then come to the horrible part of having to then try and rebook him on site, which become very difficult, which then did affect the rebook strategy. But the actual getting him there was done quite well.
So did he rebook?
No. He didn't rebook, and I couldn't force another one at that rate because it was so heavily discounted last minute.
And sorry, what show was this? Did you tell us what show it was?
The show was Grand Designs Live.
Yeah. I'm not sure Lee Newton or Richard Morey would have been happy with you there.
Lucky I'm no longer an employee there.
Actually, they might have been.
We've done really well at not naming names then, haven't we, everyone?
Cheers, Dan.
Okay, what else can we... And what size stand was it?
It was only a 10 square meter. 10 square meter shelf scheme.
Yeah.
And how did he fit it out? Did he have lots of taps there? Maybe that's why he didn't rebook. He didn't have a nice looking stand.
Bought a few, like part of the workshop. He's got actual like sinks you can fit the taps to. So I just bought those down. I literally needed £250 for this end of year target, to which I charged £25 per square meter to hit that number of 10 square meters. So
Wow.
yeah, it worked quite nicely. Didn't need anything bigger than that.
Okay, so before we accuse Luke of lying, or is he telling the truth, have we got any final comments or questions or observations?
Have you sold stands to other relatives since?
I haven't. No, I haven't actually got any other relatives that's got a good enough business model.
They're not listening.
Okay,
I'm not sure the maths was quite adding up. That it was for a £250 stand, 3,000 commission. I get that as target, but not sure on that one.
It
That's why
was
we
the
call it
end
the
of target
best
to make up the final target revenue number. That's what I was
So
sure.
you wouldn't have got any commission without hitting that target?
No, that's exactly that. So it's an end of year target.
All right. Matt is suggesting it's a lie now. You've lost him.
Right, what do we think, guys? Is Luke telling the truth or is Luke lying?
I think it might be a lie.
Do you?
Yeah, and just not quite adding up for me.
I think it's something you might have done or might do. Take that in the nicest possible way. But you didn't do it. I think that's something you would do, but you didn't do it. So I'm thinking it's a lie as well.
Okay, Luke, did you indeed sell your father a last-minute exhibition stand so you could hit revenue target?
I am extremely happy to say that it is 100% a lie.
Well done.
Very convincing.
Well done. Another point to Team Green. Great stuff. So we now we are over to Dan from Team Green. Dan, tell us your truth or lie.
Hello. Right. So my truth or lie was I was stranded with some colleagues on the way to an event and ended up hitching a ride in Greg Wallace's helicopter. Greg Wallace being the guy that, Master Chef, impresario, and various other things, for those that aren't aware.
Right.
So,
okay.
okay, interesting. What show? What show is this?
So I was actually on the way to the Idol home show Christmas. He runs the restaurant there, Greg Wallace restaurant. People can eat a Christmas meal sort of towards the end of November. It just happened a few weeks ago. I wasn't at that one, but this was a few years ago.
How long ago?
This was in 2017.
And where did you actually hitchhike this ride in the helicopter from?
Yeah, so what we did was we were on the way from Loughton, where Media 10's offices were, to Olympia. And we were at a service station with a couple of colleagues, and after we had a meal, whatever, and then whoever's car I was in, I'm not going to name the person's name, wouldn't start, and he gave a call because he realised that Greg lives in the area, and we were we arranged to meet him anyway on site, and it was around the same time. And he said, I've got a helicopter waiting for me about 2 or 3 miles away, somewhere else in Essex, and you can join me en route to where I'm going to go, and then I'm going to join up at Olympia. So that's how we managed to hitch a ride.
And where was this helipad at Olympia? I don't recall seeing one.
At the top of one of the hotels in Kensington.
How many of you were hitching a ride?
There were 3 of us. So someone driving, 2 passengers, and then Greg was by himself with his pilot.
Is this Greg's normal way of getting around London?
I mean, I can't say if he flies around London all the time, but you can imagine celebrities, time pressured, and there, lots of helipads, people flying around to different meetings and stuff like that. That's how we chose to roll. So obviously we were paying him too much.
How come?
That was my next question. How much were you paying him for this gig?
Enough.
How come you was driving to Olympia and not get on the train?
Because we had stuff with us. People drive places, Luke. You get
helicopter places as well.
getting Loughton to Olympia on a train is a bit of a hike, as you know. So,
and were you able to? I know I'm the host, but I'm so intrigued with this one. Were you able to carry all of your stuff that was in your car for the event in the helicopter? I'm just picturing like a massive roller banner and big bags.
Yeah, no, we weren't setting up we weren't just 3 of us setting up at an event. It's a big 5-day show, so it had already been set up. So we were going there for the opening. And so, yeah, we weren't carrying any stuff with us.
And what kind of chats did you have in the helicopter ride? What kind of banter was that?
Well, you know, chats you normally have in a helicopter. Like, you know, is this the way you travel? I mean, personally, I was just about to be sick at the time. It's the only time I've ever been in a helicopter. I don't know if ever any of you have been in one, but it definitely turns the stomach.
Okay, do we have any final comments or questions, guys, before we find out if this was a truth or a lie?
Any more questions?
No? Okay, Dan.
I think I'm ready to make my decision.
All right.
Yeah, I think I am as well.
What do you guys think? Was this a truth or a lie?
No, I'm going to say lie.
I'm going to say
just because of the whole logistics behind having to get a helicopter to Olympia.
And I don't understand why you'd be driving if you're already setting up. You're just going to Olympia still, even from Loughton. So yeah, I think it's got to be a lie.
And like get an Uber or a train.
And also, I think I would have heard this story before as well, having worked at Media 10.
That's a good point.
But I haven't. So I'm going to say lie as well.
Okay, Dan. What was it? A truth or a lie?
I can say that it was a lie.
Oh,
not breaking liar. Even Rachel put everyone's put lie. I need to do better with my lies, clearly.
Well, it's not a terrible trait to have that you're not a good liar, Dan, so don't worry too much about it.
Thanks.
I think you're pretty good.
Right, we do have some time for a couple of more, so we're going to go back to Ali. Ali, what's your second situation?
Okay, so this was back in my Confex days, which was a while ago. We made our marketing manager of the time, I will not say his name, spend hours researching how to learn Braille for a keynote speaker's name badge. Truth or lie?
Truth or lie, indeed. Okay. Have we got questions about this? I feel like you need to give some more information.
Do you have a Braille printer or?
He did it manually with a pin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was
it a long name?
Sorry?
Was it a long name?
No, it was David Blunkett.
David Blunkett.
Yes.
Okay.
So for those who don't know,
sorry, go on.
So maybe we need to explain, why David Blunkett was at the event and what he was doing there.
He was one of our keynote speakers at Confex. I can't remember what his subject matter was this many years later, but it would have been something to do with tourism, events, and he was our keynote speaker. And we told our marketing manager that he'd made an error because he'd printed his badge. And of course, he's going to need a Braille badge. So then he was panicking and spent hours researching how to do this and then actually getting a pin and doing it onto the badge.
And was anything else?
Do we think that he didn't know his do we think that he didn't know his own name?
That's what the marketing manager might have perhaps thought. But apparently not.
Was there anything else done in Braille or just the badge?
Just the badge. Just the badge.
And it wasn't the same person you gave a heart attack to.
What to?
All right.
It wasn't the same person that you gave a heart attack to, just to clarify.
Oh, sorry. No. Maybe, I mean, maybe. Who knows?
And did you tell him that this had gone on whilst at the event?
Did I tell the keynote speaker, Dave Blunkett, that this was happening? Absolutely not. No. This was just for the team fun.
Behind the scenes.
In the event organizer office, yeah. Just watching it. I mean, you would think we were a bit too busy to think of such pranks, but no, we took great delight in this.
Oh, so it was someone from behind the scenes told, it wasn't the keynote speaker that said.
Correct.
where's my Braille badge?
Correct. We told him.
Brilliant. Okay, so what do we think? Is this a truth or a lie, or are there any final comments?
Yeah.
Or questions?
I'm thinking it would have been too busy on site to have that sort of time.
You'd hope so.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good idea. I don't know. When was this again?
Oh my goodness, that's really testing me, but that's more because of my memory than the ability.
Yeah, throw you there.
Okay, guys, truth or lie?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a lie.
I think it's a lie.
Not filling up that one.
She doesn't know when it was.
I think even as good as a prank as it would be on site, I think you'd just be too busy to be thinking about that.
Imagine being everyone's check.
Okay, Ali, let's hear it. Was it a truth or is it a lie?
I can confirm that we were not too busy to come up with such a prank. And our dear friend, who we're still friends with, and I have plenty of witnesses, spent a long time producing this badge, to be told afterwards that of course he did not need a name badge for his own name, and we still laugh about it now, and it was a long time ago. It is the truth.
There you go.
Well done.
I think making it up would be harder than it being the truth.
Yeah, true.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we've got time for one more, I think.
Sure.
So Beth, over to you.
Yep. So I got a selfie with David Attenborough at a Comic-Con.
Hands off.
When was this, Beth?
So this was just before COVID, so it must have been October 2019. It was the October Comic-Con.
October Comic-Con, okay.
Yes.
What venue is this?
Sorry?
What venue?
XL.
It's XL, okay.
Yeah, the MCM Comic-Con.
I don't know my Comic-Cons. And what was he doing at the Comic-Con?
He was with his, I can't remember if it was granddaughter or grandson. I think it was granddaughter. And she was going to be in the cosplay masquerade. So I was stood watching, waiting for the masquerade to start, and suddenly realised who I was stood next to.
Were lots of other people recognising him?
No, he was quietly stood at the back. And I have to admit, it took me far longer than it should have to actually recognise who it was stood next to me. And of course, when you're at a Comic-Con, there are so many people dressed up that I think people just assumed that he was someone dressed up as David Attenborough.
So was David Attenborough not dressed up at all? He was in complete normal clothing.
No, completely normal clothing. Yes, at Comic-Con.
How did you approach him, Beth?
I was literally stood next to him. So I absolutely love Comic-Con. I love the cosplays, and I was watching the masquerade. Dressed up myself, so the selfie is hilarious. But I realised he was stood next to me as we were waiting for the next show to start, and I asked for a selfie, and I just suddenly realised who it was. So yeah, it was unexpected. I mean, you expect to see a lot of people at a Comic-Con, but not him generally.
So what are we thinking, guys? Are we thinking this is true? Or are we thinking this is a lie?
What was your outfit? Says Amy.
So my outfit that year was Cardio from Code Realize. So it was a white shirt with brown corset over, and it was a netting skirt that I wore. So it was made of net curtains. So I'd layered net curtains to make a really puffy skirt. It's very cool. It's not on my Instagram because it was pre-Instagram at that point. I didn't have my Instagram.
So is this also on your LinkedIn, this outfit as well, or?
Not on my LinkedIn. I do have it on my phone.
Do you have it shared the selfie on any social media platforms?
I don't think I was on Instagram at that point. It might be on my Facebook, yes. Yes, it would be on my Facebook. But I don't think I had Instagram at that point. I joined afterwards.
Okay, any final comments or thoughts on this one? Did Beth meet David Attenborough at Comic-Con and take a selfie with him? What do you think?
It seems a bit random for it to be a lie, but...
What if you're doing a Comic-Con? I don't know.
Just not too sure David Attenborough would be at Comic-Con only 2 years ago.
He'd be in a jungle somewhere.
He's quite a big name.
Yeah.
He wasn't there as a like speaker or something. He was literally just there with family.
What do you think, Ali?
I'm thinking the same as the other Ali. I think it's a lie.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lie as well. Should we go lie?
I think we're going to go lie.
Okay, Beth, did you meet David Attenborough at Comic-Con and take a selfie with him? Truth or lie?
Quite correct. It was a lie.
That was good.
Oh, that's all we've got time for today, guys. So well done on playing Would Easy Fares Lie to You, and thank you everyone for joining. Winning today's competition was Team Easy, which is the Whyte team. So well done, Ali and Luke. Congratulations. You win absolutely nothing. I guess the recognition.
My favorite kind of prize.
Thank you so much, guys. It'd be anyone that's watching, if you still want to make a donation, please donate towards event relief. We're still open for a while yet. That'd be appreciated. I think there's various links flying around, or go to justgiving.com and type in event relief. Shannon, thank you so much for organising that. I think we can carry on all day, actually. Maybe we should just do this every week.
I have enough stories to go on all day, and they're all true.
Oh, yeah, so many stories.
Ali and I sat down, and we couldn't get enough. We couldn't get enough in, really. There was too many. So
excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Beth. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, Ali. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Dan.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Team Easy Fares. So we got some good liars in the events community. Okay, so what am I doing now? I'm going to speak to my good friend Lee Ali. I'll just bring him straight on. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Dan.
Saw you waiting there in the waiting in the wings. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you feeling? Does it feel
tired.
like 5 o'clock at a trade show?
I'm tired. I was up about 4:30, sort of preparing.
Right.
Started at 8. What is it now? It's 5, so it's about 9 hours. So, in fact, I've just got a numb backside because I'll be sitting down a lot.
All right. Stand up.
But what?
Stand up. Lift your desk.
You lift my desk. It's a fixed
Lift it,
floor. You're not at a show?
Nope. I'm taking a rest this week.
I thought you might be at IBTM or whatever's going on.
No, because I had this in my calendar. Couldn't go anywhere.
Of course, I'm sure you wouldn't miss a show. So I don't know what we're going to talk about. I think we're going to talk about some resilience, because we're going to try and make it on trend with today's topic. I should say again, everyone, that if you're watching, if you enjoyed the last session, if you want to see two bald men talk for the next 15 minutes about the event industry, please do consider donating. And also, Lee, after myself and you have had a chat, talk to me who's going to be coming on, who's been representing.
Yeah, we have a fantastic expo star called Leah Volpe. She's been working with us for a long time now. And she has a secret talent, as in she's a musician, and she's going to be doing an Expo Stars Unplugged set for us. So, yeah, be entertained.
Good. Look forward to that. So, tell us a bit about yourself, firstly, for people that aren't aware of you. So just tell me a bit about your background, a bit about Expo Stars, bring it to present day.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder and managing director of Expo Stars Interactive. I live in Manchester, big Manchester United fan.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Right, goodbye to Lee.
Yeah, so
we should have done that. That would have been good. I should have just cut you off, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go on, there you are.
But obviously, all is fair in business and love. Obviously, Dan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah. I started Expo Stars about 15 years ago. My background is in telecoms and broadcasting. Been in sales and marketing forever, I think. Best part of 30 odd years. And I started Expo Stars, funnily enough, almost to the day 15 years ago, 1st of December 2007 was the day.
Congratulations.
So we're coming up to our 15th anniversary. And seems like yesterday. Where did the 15 years go?
And you set it up by yourself?
Yep. So I set it up, and it was a chance visit to. The story behind it is quite interesting, actually, because I was working as a consultant for a software company, and we went.
I thought you were going to say you're working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Yeah, never done that. I've done many jobs.
Duran? Yeah, sorry. Go
on. I would need a full set, well, I would have needed a wig.
Okay, so you're working. I'll let you finish.
Yeah. So I was at an event in Chicago that summer of 2017 at an event called AdTech in Navy Pier in Chicago. And that's where I had the light bulb moment to set up Expo Stars, because what I found was that, majority of the exhibitors in the hall were being very passive or not being very engaging at all. So got the idea to set up Expo Stars and to help exhibitors to engage face-to-face much better than they were doing.
And so I had a session a few hours ago with Tamar, Beck of Gleanin, Lauralee, Whyte of Spectrum Speakers and Entertainment, and also Joe Atkinson from Lineup Ninja. And they were talking about their journey of founding a business. One of them was, I guess, a sole proprietor, founder. Others had a partner. And they were talking about their journey and, some of the challenges that goes with setting up on your own. I guess there's a lot of fear, potentially anxiety, especially if you haven't got anyone to bounce any ideas off. So you did it. It was just you, right?
Yeah. So I went through that because when I got the idea, it was the end of July. And it took me 3 months of umming and eyeing and going back and forth, doing research and kind of trying to get belief in myself, whether I could do it or not. Because at that time I had a young family as well. And then, one weekend just before December the 1st, I thought, sod it, let's do it. What have I got to lose?
Everything.
So I just went with it, and just one weekend, I just woke up and knocked up a website quite quickly, and sent out an email list to the exhibit at the ICE Expo in London, and I got my first order within 7 to 10 days, I think it was, for the ICE show.
What did that feel like? What did that feel like?
Amazing, because when you're in sales, one of the best feelings you ever get is getting that signature on the dotted line, and even more so than the money, because that feeling that you get when you actually sign a contract, even if it's worth like £15 or whether it's worth 1,500 or 15,000, you still get the same buzz because you've got a new customer, and that's what it felt like. And and every sale that we make now, every new customer that we bring in, it feels absolutely fantastic.
And what about the times? Because as I said, I spoke to a few sort of owners earlier. describe, because over those 15 years, lots of trials and tribulations, lots of challenges.
Yeah.
How do you get through those? Like whether they be sort of like small bumps in the road or maybe something major. I don't know if you can bring to life one or two of them if you feel like you want to share them, or just generally.
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing was I started the business in a recession. I'm not sure if you remember back then, but
yeah, I'm not that young.
Yeah. Back end of 2007 and 2008, there was a major recession going on.
There was.
So to set up a business during that recession and get through it, I think that was the first hurdle that I overcame. And how I overcame it was just pure determination, really, and just focus on doing what I wanted to do and not listen to the noise. I mean, like presently, you've got all this noise about, prices going up, inflation, what we have around the world going on with the wars and everything else. And the key thing is to, have that goal in mind and just focus on what you do best and just focus on the activity that you need to do. And then obviously focus on what you do for clients as well, because what we do actually supports clients and helps clients generate more revenue. So so that's what I did, and I got through it. And I just took it month by month, and even to this day, I don't plan ahead more than 3 months for the business. Because you never know what's going to be around the corner. So you can't really start making 1 year, 2 year, 3 year plans. Although it's nice to actually have a vision in the long term. In terms of your day-to-day planning, what I don't do is look at anything beyond the 3 months, because I think that gives me a lot more better focus, really.
Sure. And you've got a family, you've got kids, haven't you? And obviously, given the world you work in, and I know, you work hard. I see your posts, you're always at events, whether even locally or internationally. And there's a cost of doing that, isn't there?
There is.
You have to miss out on things.
Yeah.
You've got to make sacrifices. That probably doesn't sit well with you at the time. Tell me about that. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, having a young family is challenging. Also, your health is challenging. Back in 2019, I think I did about 26 trips around the globe. I think I must have gone around the world 2 or 3 times at least. So from, Los Angeles all the way to Wuhan in China, or Shanghai was the furthest I think I traveled. So that was quite extensive, and there is a price that you pay, and it's not nice, but obviously you have to manage those expectations with your loved ones, with your colleagues as well, and you have to, especially, I mean, managing your business is quite challenging. Obviously, being a business owner and being in the office 9 to 5, but you can probably double or triple that pressure when you're actually on the road.
Sure.
And especially working in different time zones like we do. It is, there is a price that you pay. And I've paid, I mean, I've overcome a lot of challenges, especially with the health as well.
Right.
Just a few years ago, I think I got diagnosed with asthma as well. Then I got into pre-diabetes, and the price you pay is like not eating healthily because you're constantly working. So you do have to obviously look at self-care. You have to look at your mindset as well in terms of the burnout. But I mean, I've learned quite well. So I've learned how to pace myself now. And but the key thing for me that's kept me going is the enjoyment of what we do and the difference that we actually make. And I think that's the biggest driver, because if I didn't enjoy it, then I would have probably sacked it 5 or 6 years ago.
And you talk about, obviously, you know, you were falling into bad habits, eating and so on. What do you do now? You know, some people tell me that, you know, religiously they will exercise first thing in the morning, or they do some meditation, or what do you try and do, whether it's consistent or not? What do you...
It's a mixture, really. Well, first thing I do is I walk everywhere, so I try not to drive, so I can get in.
Okay.
I can get in my steps every day. So I'm walking.
You just don't want to pay the petrol. That's what it is.
No, that's an added advantage.
Yeah.
But most of the people that know me, they know that I try not to drive where I can.
Sure.
So you definitely use trains, trams, where possible. So that's the first thing. Obviously, meditation. I'm a Reiki practitioner as well, so I'm very much into meditation. You know, looking at my energy levels, and then try to do some activities as well. Anything from, you know, taking salsa lessons to doing qigong, to you know, traveling. So whatever it takes to take the mind off work for at least, you know, 2 hours, then that really helps.
Salsa lessons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I need to see it, but I don't want to see it. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
No, just every year what I try to do is take on a new challenge.
Okay.
And this year it fell. I just fancied doing some salsa practice, and really enjoyed it.
We should do a Strictly Come Dancing in the exhibition industry, shouldn't we? That's not a bad idea, actually. Maybe I'll do that as another fundraiser.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Why not? Why not?
So you've also had to sort of overcome, I know you sent me some notes ahead of this sort of stereotypical mindset and attitudes within the industry.
Yeah.
And I guess, you know, when you're doing that, you know, you're launching a new service or a moderated service that people don't necessarily think they need to start off with. Must be quite hard. Yeah. Like, you know, it's like pushing against the closed door.
Yeah.
How do you sort of overcome that?
It's difficult. It's difficult because the industry, I mean, still to this day, I mean, obviously there's a lot changing, which is great news. But I did a post on LinkedIn yesterday where I was at an event last week in London, and still the same old attitudes towards booth staffing, still the same old attitudes in terms of when it comes to setting up, you know, the exhibition booth. But I mean, what we're trying to do is change that through education. And actually educating the organizers to educate their exhibitors, and getting access to the business owners as well, you know, so that they actually know what their money is actually being spent on and how they're actually generating the return on investment from events. Because I mean, we go to clients and a lot of the time they don't even know what they've actually got in terms of return on investment from their events. And we get the old age, you know, attitudes of like, we've always gone to that event, okay, and we'll always do it, but they don't necessarily know whether it's working or not. And then we have, you know, people who are very set in their ways, who are still doing the same things at an exhibition that they were doing 20 or 30 years ago, okay, and despite all of the education and despite you know, showing them case studies of the need to change, they don't want to change. So what can you do?
And well, what can you do? What do you think the next sort of, you've been in business now with this for 15 years.
Yeah.
What do you think the next 15 years is going to help hold? I mean, again, I had a session at 9 this morning with Merijn from Event Mender and Vanessa Lovatt from Notifeied, and they were talking about new ideas. And then Vanessa asked us, you know, where events going to be in 7 years. And I said trade shows. I'm sure the a lot of them be the same. Exhibition stands might be different in terms of how they engage with you with VR and augmented reality. But, you know, when you're dealing with vested interests, it's easier to do the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Time again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen that already this year, where exhibitors have gone into the same old habits that they were having in 2019. Yeah, and everybody said in the last 2 years that events won't be the same. But go to a trade show next week, and you'll see exactly the same things happening as you did in 2019. So, but what the big trend I'm seeing towards is a lot smaller events, but more experience-based events, okay, where it's more interactive experiences and building communities around that event as well. I think that's quite you know, going to happen over the coming years.
Cool. So I think we're almost wrapped up. We're going to be hopefully joined by Leah, Alana, Leah.
Lee
and Leah.
Yeah.
Lee and Leah. So she's going to be. So I mean, talk to me. Obviously, people like that, they work with you sort of on a freelance, temporary basis. How does your team work, and how do you?
Yeah, sure. So we have a network.
I've seen you've been advertising for, you know, staff to come and work with you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have a network of over 2,500 freelance contractors around the globe. So most of them are actors, actresses, presenters, and people who really love having an audience in front of them. And that's what engagement at trade shows should be all about, is people saying hello to people, right, and connecting with people.
Sure.
So what we've done is built a really good team over the past few years, and they can take on a variety of roles, from saying hello to the attendees, to presenting products, to facilitating an experience, and even managing the booths on behalf of clients remotely if they can't get to the trade show.
Perfect. So that was a good segue. I can see Ileana in the virtual waiting room. So Lee, I'm going to bid you farewell.
Excellent. Thank you for having me, and well done for a fantastic event today.
Thank you, and thank you for your very generous donation as well on behalf of Expo Stars. It's appreciated. Yep. Anyone that wants to donate, and maybe we said we might set up a Bald Men in Exhibitions podcast. Maybe we should do that. As our
oh yeah. We forgot about that.
Our next charity gig. Cool. Listen, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Best of luck.
Likewise.
See you soon.
Cheers.
Okay, so that was Lee Ali from Expo Stars. I'm now going to welcome Ileana. How are you?
Hi, Dan. Can you hear me? This is Jara. We're together.
Jara, nice to see you. And I think you're going to be playing us. Tell me about yourselves first.
Okay. Well, you know,
it's a little bit quiet. I don't know if you can turn it up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Can
you? It's not too bad, but just in case.
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's okay. So just go nearer the microphone. That's cool. It's okay. It's fine. Super. Yeah, sorry. Tell us a little about yourselves.
Well, we've been making music for the past few years. Obviously, when COVID hit, you know, that kind of like ruined the plan. So we were indoors for 2 years, but now we're back. We usually play in pubs around London. We're in the middle of recording a little EP, and we're going to perform a few songs tonight. 3 songs, I believe. They are all originals.
Okay, excellent. And do you have like a YouTube or Spot? I don't know what the kids do these days. Is it? How do you? You can't buy singles anymore, can you? Like vinyl? Maybe you can. I don't know.
No, you don't even buy them. You just stream them and hope for the best. And yeah, hope they buy your merch or something like that. Cool. As I said, we're recording an EP, so we don't have anything online at the moment.
Okay.
We didn't like the quality of what we had. So
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to jump off the stream. I'm going to leave you to it, and look forward to hearing you. Thank you so much.
Super. Thank you. Okay. So the first song we're going to do is called "Limited Time Only." Hit it. Thank you. I'm assuming you're clapping. I clap.
Could you hear it? Okay. I don't know if anyone can talk to us. I guess we'll assume
you can hear us and love us. So we're gonna carry on. Next song we're gonna play is called Burn Book. Ready.
Something wrong and I'm too blind to see. Said that I did nothing wrong and you just felt like it. It's customary to give at least 1 week's notice before turning into the world great test and make a stick. Caught me off guard. Well, what can I say now? Mom says that I should play polite. That bridge has gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta global warming wasn't already a thing. But you don't really care, that's fine. No, you don't care at all. Don't worry, I'm already on my way to decompose. Cadmium God, well, what can I say now? Mom says that I should play polite. That bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta let them fucking burn. Burn, 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 yeah, burn, 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 burn. Call me of God. Well, what can I do now? Mom says that I should play polite. Mom, bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta be blown up into the sky. The river needs no crown. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta burn. Some bridges gotta.
Thank you. I'm imagining the claps and the shouting. Oh, here we. Yep. Are we good with one more? We're good. Okay, excellent. So the last song we're gonna do is called "The Corbeau." If I'm pronouncing that right, that should be "The Raven" in French. Hopefully. Otherwise, well, that's what it is. The Corbeau. Here we go.
Thankful that the candle's finally out and glasses are now empty. Smoke is piling up as central dance in our private pool. Water falling down, caress the glass suggestively gently. Cloudy sky, oh well, it got too dark a little too soon. Maybe I should put the blinds down, get this thing moving, baby. Or should I keep my little hands out where you can sit down, baby? I say the raven won't find out till sweet time. Don't make me tired now. Sweep the floors, maybe before the wall. Some pacing inside to get out of the cage. It's a matter of time to the break of the switch. Should I make myself
Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
I was drifting off. It was a nice sort of.
Excellent.
It was a nice vibe towards the end of the day.
Super.
So, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck with what you get up to next and in the future, and with your EP. And thank you again for supporting Event Relief.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
All the best. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, so that was a lovely Ileana, accompanied by the guitarist there, and some great music. We're almost got about an hour left, so please do consider donating. I can say that we're at £5,270. So we've gone through the original target of 5k, but that doesn't stop us donating. It'd be great to get to £5,500. So if you are listening, if you enjoyed the day, you've just joined us, you've watched anything on demand, please consider donating to support EventWell, Make It Blue, and Meeting Needs. And I'm now delighted to be joined by Kate Conway. Hey, Kate.
Hey there. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah, I did put my nose in on the mindfulness session this afternoon, and I saw you said you've been drifting off there, and I'm sure I'm sure you'll be grateful when it comes to 7 o'clock, and you can cheer on whichever team is
England
you choose.
It's not physically. I've just like sitting down and just like talking all day, so my voice is gone, but it's all good for a good cause, and I'm delighted to say that we've pushed through the £5,000 barrier.
That's amazing. And everybody at Meeting Needs is just, we're always grateful when anybody wants to do anything to raise money to support our causes. And I think £5,000 is, well, a third of £5,000 is great. If you can get up to 6, that'll make it 2, everybody.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to keep the donation page open for a while, and obviously people will watch on demand and hopefully also be minded to donate. So, Kate, I was speaking to Chris earlier.
Yes, yeah.
Chris Peacock. I'm sure there's people that maybe didn't see that session or my sort of few minutes chat with him. So I guess the purpose of me talking to you now is, as I did with him, it'd be good to start off with just an introduction to yourself and how you got involved with Meeting Needs. Yeah,
well, I'm Kate Conway. I'm an event manager, and unusually for the board at Meeting Needs, I'm actually client side. So most of the board are on the supplier side, either agencies or hotels or that kind of thing. But I've worked for Tesco, I've worked for Hyundai. A long time ago, way back in the day, I've worked for GSK, and I'm now at the UK Atomic Energy Authority, which is a very steep learning curve for me, bearing in mind I failed physics at school. So it's not just the events, it's the content. So I first got involved with Meeting Needs almost 11 years ago to the day. I completed a challenge on the 4th of December 2011 to run a half marathon a month in aid of charity. And I'd started in January, doing one every month. And I was raising money for an orphanage in Phnom Penh in Cambodia, which rescued children from dumps. And my final half marathon was fittingly Angkor Wat half marathon in Cambodia. And for the 2 weeks prior to that, I went and helped at the orphanage, at the school, and talking to the children, because they were they spent a lot of time learning English. The guy who owned the orphanage, who'd come through the Pol Pot regime and didn't want to see children without parents and to be living in such circumstances, he insisted that they learn English because he realized that the jobs for them within Cambodia are going to come from speaking English. Universities taught in English anyway, but all the tourism jobs, they need to speak English. So I was doing things like that with them, and then I ran the final half marathon, and over the year I raised about £5,000 or £6,000 for the charity. And then I got to hear about Meeting Needs, and the fact that they give grants to projects. And so I went back to the people who were managing the charity and said, have you got any projects that you think Meeting Needs could assist with? Because it's the event industry charity. I was in events, just the kind of thing that Meeting Needs would support. And she came back and said, well, yes. She says, we've got, we need to vaccinate all the children. There's 100 children at the orphanage. They've got, they need the vaccinations, the childhood vaccinations that we've all had, diphtheria, whooping cough, MMR, etc. But they also need the vaccinations that you and I might have when we go on holiday, for the tropical diseases. So it's quite a bill. And she said, we've got a doctor, we've got somebody to sponsor a doctor who can go into the orphanage once a month, but we need vaccinations. So she priced them up with the local, wherever she priced them up from, somebody locally, and the cost of that was £6,000. And so I thought, well, I'll put a bid into Meeting Needs, and I did, and exceptionally, because we generally only tend to go up to £5,000 these days, my £6,000 was accepted. And Meeting Needs, the generosity of the events industry, vaccinated 100 children in an orphanage in Phnom Penh. And so when a place came up on the board, Martin Lewis, who a lot of people will know from CAT Publications, approached me and said, would I like to join the board? I thought, well, yeah, great. It's an opportunity to give back. And I think that was probably in about 2014 or 2015. I think aside from Martin, I'm the longest serving member of the Meeting Needs board. So, so yeah, that's how I got involved with them.
So as I understand it, people, organisations, projects, however you want to describe them, have a campaign. They have an initiative that needs funding, and so they can apply. And that could be anywhere around the world, right? It's not just
absolutely. I mean, I think we do tend to do quite a lot abroad. We've done stuff. Actually, Asia's unusual. We do quite a bit in Africa, but I think one of the reasons is that we purposely cap the amount that we will give, because so that we can, give more money and support more charities, and it goes further in a place like Africa. We support a charity called Champion Chanzigi in Tanzania, and they can do a classroom for 5,000, or do a good chunk towards building a classroom, or kitting out a classroom, should I say, and the children will go from sitting on a dusty floor, who can study sitting on the floor when it's dusty and dirty, to having a classroom with a proper floor that they paint them, painted walls and desks, and Champion Chanzigi also use local craftsmen. So they're getting the local painters, the local decorators, they'll source the desks locally and everything. So it's not only are we the money's going further, we're giving to the children, but they're also supporting local businessmen and bringing more money into the community that way. But certainly we support all sorts of things in the UK as well. It's just, as I say, we will support anybody who fits our criteria, and has a sponsor within the events industry, which means that we can. We sort of call it boots on the ground. We like to know that the charity is bona fide, the money's going where they say it's going, and we do due diligence. So when people come to us and say, can we have some money for whatever it is, not only do we look to see that the request fulfills our criteria, but also that this charity is who they say they are. And it always helps if there is an events champion, really.
And also talk to me about the Royal Parks Run, because I think you're keen to drum up some participation.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've made a note here about a week ago.
The Royal Parks Half Marathon, back in 2015, I think it was 2015, 2016, when I was at Hyundai, we sponsored them as a corporate. And I thought, why don't we Meeting Needs put a team in, and you think, well, how many people are we going to get on this team? So we started off with 10 people in the first year, and they ran round and they raised some money, and then 20, then 30, then 40. And then we bought 50 places for, when was last year? 2021, we had 50. And in 2022, we also had 50 runners. Our runners are drawn from all over the events industry. And in fact, one area where we're really lucky is you get a couple of salespeople on board, and they go out to various events, and that not only do they sell their business, they've been very good at selling places, selling places in the Royal Parks Half Marathon for Meeting Needs. So the more runners we've had, because the more runners have recruited more runners. But this year was a particularly good year. We set a target of 28,000. And I think we raised just shy of 31,000, which we were totally blown away with. But of course, the recruitment process is never far away. And as one race ends, and another one, recruitment for another one begins. And we're already taking names, and have got a waiting list for the Royal Parks Half Marathon in 2023, which I think is the second Sunday in October. That might be, it's either the 8th or the 10th. It was the 9th this year, and I can never remember how it works. And if you're interested in running or walking the Royal Parks Half Marathon on behalf of Meeting Needs, then please do either drop me a note on LinkedIn, Kate Conway, or find me through the Meeting Needs website.
Perfect. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today for this evening towards the end of Event Relief. I'm glad that the monies raised are going to make a difference, and it's still not too late to donate. It'd be great to get towards £6,000 if we can.
Absolutely.
So, Kate, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the work that you're doing. I know obviously they're all volunteers at all of these organisations, so
yes.
Thank you as well. It needs people like yourselves, as well as people to donate, to actually collaborate together to make these projects work, right?
Absolutely.
So well done to you. So, okay, thank you. I'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks for pulling this together. I know it's not been easy. You've been working very hard, so have a couple of days off on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, thanks. I've got to go back to my day job tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
See you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so that was Kate Conway at Meeting Needs. So got about an hour left, about 45 minutes left. We've got one more session left, not last, not least. We've got some yoga to end the day with Becca Brown from Nature's Healing. And she's going to be joined by a couple of individuals from 19 Group. Might be one or two surprise guests as well, who knows? So definitely David Bishop and Eleanor Hall from 19 Group. It's been a mammoth day, and it'd be great if we can get a few more donations. So feel free to dig down the back of the sofa, ask your boss, try and donate anything towards this great cause of supporting event professionals, supporting better mental health and well-being in the events industry. My voice is going. I'll be back in about 7 or 8 minutes time. It's going to have a natural break. And as I said, we're going to have a bit of yoga. So don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back. So we've been going for 10 hours. I've been going for 10 hours. And we are reaching the end of Event Relief 2022, raising money to improve mental health and well-being in the events industry, raising funds for 3 fantastic charities, EventWell, Make It Blue, and Meeting Needs. The total is currently standing at £5,270. Still time to donate. We're going to welcome next in a couple of minutes when they're ready. Are you ready, Team 19? Give me a thumbs up. I can see you in the studio. You are. So I think they're going to be led by Becca Brown, if I've got that correct, from who's a yoga instructor, and she's from Nature's Healing. I know we're joined with David Bishop and Eleanor Hall, but maybe we've got a few more there as well. Might be some surprise guests. So I'm just going to bring you on.
We have Michelle and Katie as well.
Ah, Michelle and Katie. She's hiding. Don't hide. We can see you. Are you actually in the 19 offices?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Oh, cool. So, excellent. So, before we start, tell me a bit about yourself, Becca, and Nature's Healing.
Oh gosh, this is on the spot, isn't it? So it's a holistic health and wellbeing business. So I focus on physical, mental, and emotional health and wellbeing. So as well as yoga, I teach meditation. I'm a massage therapist and do mindset coaching as well.
Good for you. We just had a mindfulness session a couple of hours ago. And we had
cool.
some Pilates at lunchtime. So
how are you feeling?
I'm knackered. My brain, not physical. Yeah. I mean, I did 24 hours last year, which was mental. Excuse the turn of phrase. So 11 hours is not too bad. But yeah, my voice is gone because I've had to hold a load of panel discussions as well. So I'm gonna leave you to it. How long do you think how long's the session?
45 minutes.
Yeah, cool. So however long you want to go on for, I will chime in about 40 minutes time.
Okay, perfect.
I'll let you go.
Okay. So hello and welcome everyone. Come down to a cross-legged or kneeling position on your mat and just get nice and comfortable. So we're just going to close our eyes and just take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth, as you just simply arrive on your mat space. So arriving physically, mentally, and just take a moment just to check in with yourself. So check in with how you're feeling, physically, mentally. And as you're sat here, just thinking about grounding down through the sit bones, anchoring you, connecting you down, but finding a little bit of length through the spine as well, and the crown of the head. Softening the shoulders. And then just coming to a natural breath, just start to give yourself a little body scan, noticing how you're feeling physically. Any areas that you might be feeling a little bit tight in. Maybe you're feeling the breath restricted to parts of the body. And softness to the jaw, the brow area. And then as you're connecting to your physical body, just start finding your connection to your breath. So really dropping down into your deep belly breathing. So often we're up in our upper chest breathing, associated with anxiety, stress. So just thinking about drawing the breath deeper and deeper into the belly, and allow the belly to rise as you inhale, let the ribs expand, and then exhale, releasing through the nose, letting the breath come from the chest into the belly. And just noticing as you're breathing in and out, are the shoulders rising up towards the ears? This is an indication that we're in our chest breathing. So just thinking about the breath starting from the belly, all the way up to the chest,
maybe even collarbones. And then exhale, release from the chest, and then down the belly. And deepening every inhale, lengthening every exhale. So we're just going to start counting the breath. So inhaling for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhaling 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So continuing this with your own breath, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 5, and just really start checking in with what you're noticing, what you're feeling, noticing the whole length of the inhale, the whole length of the exhale. And then start exploring within the physical body where the breath can go. So especially those areas that we're feeling a little bit tight or sticky, just let the breath flow to those areas. Creating space and openness with our inhale, our energizing breath in. And our exhale, our cleansing, releasing, grounding breath out. So just letting that exhale release tension, whether that be mentally, physically, emotionally. Feel the body release. And then as you're connecting to the physical body and the breath, just start to have a little check-in with how you're feeling mentally and emotionally. So any thoughts, feelings, emotions that might be coming up for you, simply notice what they are. Acknowledge them. Then coming back to your breath count, in for 4 and out for 5. If your mind is wandering or getting distracted, just know that this is normal. Come back to your breath. So we're just going to stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. Inhale deeply. Lengthening the exhale. And once you finish your last breath, just slowly open the eyes, very, very gently, as we come to our practice. So from here, just grounding down to the sit bones, towards the spine, just draw the chin towards the chest, without dropping the shoulders forward. And then draw the chin towards the right underarm. Right ear comes to the right shoulder. Slowly rotate the head round. Left ear comes to the left shoulder. Chin towards left underarm. Chin towards the chest. One more time towards the right. Just taking the neck through all the different ranges of motions capable of. Noticing where you're feeling maybe a little bit of clickiness, clunkiness. Good. And then take it towards the left. The chin towards the left underarm. Left ear, left shoulder. Slowly rotate the head round as we bring the right ear to the right shoulder, chin to the right underarm, chin towards the chest. One more time towards the left. And just notice how this side feels compared to going towards the right. And then come back to your neutral spine. And then come into our seated cat-cow. So keep the hands on the knees. Inhale, find your pelvic tilt. Lift up through the chest. Take the gaze up, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, round down, chin to chest as you squeeze the belly in, rounding through the shoulders. Pelvis tilts, inhale, expand to that front body. Exhale, squeeze down, round down. Good, your whole leg your inhale to open up to that front body, lift up. The whole exhale as we round down, squeeze down. Good, one more here, inhale to lift up. Good, exhale, squeeze down. And inhale to come to your neutral spine. Bring the hands behind you, and we're going to bring the legs out in front of us, ground the feet down. And then bring the feet just outside shoulder, hip width distance. And we're just going to slowly take the legs side to side. So just start easing into the hips. Good. and releasing any clips. That's it. Just seeing if each time we come over, we can get a little bit more space as we start easing through those hips. Good. Just coming through one more time either side. Good. And then from here, come back to neutral, cross the legs, and then we're going to roll to our tabletop position. So our 4-point kneeling, spread the fingers nice and wide as we stack the wrists, elbows, shoulders, and then the knees underneath the hips. And then from here, we're going to inhale for our cow pose, lift up, open up, and then exhale for our cat. And then as we do this, we're going to sit the hips back towards the heels, come into little child's pose. Ground the forearms down to the floor, and then imagine we're rolling a marble underneath the nose, rolling it all the way to the top of the mat as we then push back up to our cow pose. Exhale for our cat, rounding through the spine, hips to heels, ground the forearms down, rolling that marble underneath the nose as we inhale to push up to our cow. Good, 2 more like this. Exhale, so we're really starting to link that breath movement. Inhale to come forward. Good. Exhale to round down. Last time here. Inhale to come forward. Good. And then we're going to exhale, come into our child's pose. So knees come wide, big toes to touch, then hips back towards the heels. And then just start softening down, resting the forehead down onto the mat. And it can feel quite nice just rolling over the forehead side to side here. Just releasing into the neck, releasing tension through the brow area. Softening through the shoulders, keeping the forearms and the elbows down on the floor, just to take a little bit of tension out of the shoulder area. Good, just staying here for one more breath. Good, and then from here, just start walking the hands back in towards the shoulder, in towards the knees. Slide the knees underneath the hips, and then come back to our tabletop. And then from here, we're going to ground the right hand down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up, rotate through the upper back. Exhale, left arm threads underneath, reach as far through as you can. Good. Push with the right hand as we inhale, lift up. Exhale, thread through. Good. Last time, inhale to reach up. Exhale, thread through. Good. Inhale to reach up. And then exhale, left hand grounds down and we change sides. Right hand lifts up as we inhale. Exhale, thread underneath the left arm. Good. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Gaze up if that's comfortable. Exhale, thread through. Last time, inhale to reach up. Exhale to thread through. Good. We reach up for one last time as we inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. And then from here, we're going to tuck the toes under and come to some knee hovers. So as we inhale, find our cow pose. Exhale, squeeze everything in and up towards our cat, and then hover the knees about an inch off the mat. That's it. So really suck that core in, squeeze, please keep that chin in towards the chest. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Knees down. Inhale for your cow pose. Exhale, squeeze everything in and up, and then hold the knees about an inch. Squeeze the tummy. Good. Staying here for 3, 2, 1. Knees down. Inhale to gaze forwards. Last time here. Exhale, squeeze everything in and up. Hold the knees. 3, 2, 1. From here, lift the knees all the way up, come into your downward facing dog. Good. And just take a moment here, just to pedal through the legs, coming through some movement. If that feels nice, maybe bending both knees deeply. Release through the head and the neck. And then when you feel ready, just pause in your stillness. Just spread the fingers nice and wide. Squeeze the shoulders towards the hips as you just let the head and the neck release. Lifting through the front thigh, squeeze the glutes, engage the core. Good. Then from here, we're going to gaze forward, really slowly, ripple forwards to our high plank. Nice and slow. Use that core as we then step the shoulders over the wrists. Push up and out through the shoulders. Squeeze the tummy. Then from here, we're going to soften the knees, push back to our downward facing dog. Good, 3 more like that. Nice and slow. Inhale to ripple forward, shoulders stack over those wrists. Squeeze, pause here. Suck everything into the midline. Soften the knees, push back to downward facing dog. Good, 2 more. Inhale to come forward, squeeze the tummy. Hold the belly button towards the spine, gazing slightly forward. Soften the knees, push back to down dog. Good, last time, coming forward. Good, hold your plank. Lift up to the front side, soften the knees, push back to down dog. Good, then from here, we're going to come forwards to our plank. And then from our plank, we're going to bring the knees down to the floor. And then lower all the way down to our stomach with the elbows narrow. Squeeze the tummy, engage the glutes, coming all the way down in one long line. Good. And then bring the hands outside the mat here, roughly shoulder level. Tops of feet push down, squeeze the glutes. Got a snag.
That's all right. I started eating it.
Just keep it going down. Lift the stomach, lift the chest, lift the shoulders as we gaze up. And then as we exhale, belly down, chest down, head down. So we're doing our cobra rolls here. Squeeze the belly, lift up. Belly, chest, and head. Exhale, belly, chest, and head. Two more. Inhale, squeeze and lift, just rippling through the spine. Maybe finding a little bit more space and depth. Last time here. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to come down. Good. And then from here, ground the hands underneath the shoulders. Push back to your knees. Tuck the toes, lift the knees and hips. Come to your downward facing dog. Good. So spread the fingers wide. Press firmly to the finger pads and the knuckles, releasing through the head and the neck. On next inhale, we're going to sweep the right leg into the air. Gaze forward, step the right foot to the top of the mat. And pause here with the left knee lifted. So step the right foot forwards. All the way to the top of the mat. That's it. Use your hand to help you so the knees over the ankle. And then just glide the left foot down at a slight angle. And then from here, we're going to inhale, come up to our warrior one. So the right knee's bent over the right ankle. Find that length through the torso. And then push back to that left leg. Good. Squeeze the glutes. So from here, trying to keep those hips parallel, facing front. Imagining that your hips are like car headlights. Then as we exhale, release the hands behind the back, interlace the hands, inhale, squeeze, lift the chest. Exhale, we're going to fold down, hinging inside this right leg, reaching the arms up overhead as much as we can as we release through the head and the neck. Breathing in and breathing out here. Good, one more breath. Resting that shoulder, that right shoulder inside the leg. And then inhale, come back to our warrior one, reach the arms up. Now pivot onto the ball of the left foot, coming into our high lunge. And then from here, hands come to our heart center, hinge forwards, find a still point to focus on, coming up to warrior three. So finding your balance, draw the left hip down, left toes towards the knee. That's it, as you squeeze the glutes, engaging those shoulders, breathing in, breathing out. And then from here, softening into that right knee. Left leg is going to step forwards, coming into chair pose. So weight into the backs of the heels, keeping your hands at your heart center. Now energy through the chest here, so push the hands together. Good. Weight back into those heels. Just make sure that you can see the toes over the knees. Good. And then from here, take a deep breath in. We're going to reach the right arm up and behind, left arm up and forward. So coming into a twist. That's it. So you're twisting to the right. So left arm forward, right arm behind. And then just look at the knees. Make sure that the left knee isn't overshooting that right knee. And then sit down a little bit more. Good. Breathing in and breathing out here. Regulating that breath. Good. Staying here for one more breath. Good. And then bring the hands together. Gaze down at the feet. Ground the right leg down. Hover the left foot. We're going to lightly step the left leg back. Inhale for our high lunge. Exhale, release the hands down. Good. And then from here, you're going to pivot to your left-hand side. So coming all the way over to the left. And the toes are going to come in and the heels are going to come out slightly. And then soften the knees, bring the hands to the hips, slowly come all the way up to a standing position. Good. And then from here, bring the arms out to the side, shoulder height. Good. Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift up, push to the outside edges of the feet, take a deep breath in, exhale as we fold all the way down. Bring the hands down to the floor, bring the weight forwards into the toes, crown of the head is heavy, and just release here, breathing through the back body. Inhale, Exhale, release. Can you find a little bit more space? Good. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Good, then we're going to pivot back to the front of the mat. So right knee bends, come all the way to the front of the mat, back in your runner's lunge. Inhale, reach up to our high lunge, scoop the arms up overhead. Good. And then from here, hands come to your heart center, left leg is going to step forward, come to a standing position. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Then just interlace the thumbs. Yeah, perfect. Deep breath in here. And then exhale, hips come to the left, arms come to the right. So you're coming into a half moon position. That's it. Breathing in. Round the feet down to the hips, pushing to the left, arms to the right. Like left shoulder back slightly. Good. Inhale to come all the way up. Exhale to the left. Hips to the right, arms to the left. Good. All right. Shoulder back slightly. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more breath here. Good. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands up through heart center. And then just come to the middle of your mat. We're just going to come to a little balancing pose. So from here, bring your hands to your heart center, ground down through this left leg, come to the right tiptoes, and then open the right knee out to the side. So either keep the right foot here against the left ankle, or bring it to the inner shin, or lift it up to the inner thigh. Just avoid being on the knee, so you're either above or below the knee. And then ground the foot into the leg, bring your hands to your heart center, find a still point to focus on. Good, don't focus on me, because if I wobble, little wobble. And then maybe lift the arms up overhead. That's it. Zip up through your pelvic floor. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes. Find as much engagement and activation as you can. Good. Staying here for one more breath. Nice. And then exhale, bring the hands to your heart center. Lift the right leg up. Place it down. And then just come to the top of the mat. Again, inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Maybe take the gaze up if that's comfortable. As we exhale, fold into our forward fold. Bring the weight forward into the toes. Release to the head and the neck. Inhale, halfway lift. So bring the hands to the shin, squeeze the shoulder blades, lift up. Exhale to release down. Good. Then ground the hands down, bend the knees. The right leg steps back. Left leg follows in plank. Squeeze tummy. Good. Then from here, knees come down and tuck the toes. Exhale into your child's pose. Good. Staying here for 5 breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Finding a little bit more softness through the lower back. Releasing through the head and the neck. Softening through the jaw. And just noticing where you're feeling a little bit of tension. So really take the breath to those areas. Breathing in. Staying here for one more breath. Good. And then walking the hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself back to your tabletop. You're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees and hips, come into downward facing dog. And we're going to come to the left-hand side of that little sequence. So just find your strength in the down dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Maybe find a little bit more depth as we're starting to ease into the body a little bit more. So your next inhale, left leg sweeps into the air. Gaze forward, step the left foot to the top of the mat. Use your left hand to help if you need to. Ground the right foot down at a slight angle. And then from here, inhale, come up to our warrior one. Good. Squeeze the shoulders, draw the left hip back slightly. Find that length through the body, but activation at the same time. Good. Exhale, release the hands behind the back. Interlace the hands, squeeze as we lift the chest. Find that space for the front body. Then on exhale, we're going to dive down inside this left leg. Reaching the arms up as we soften through the head and the neck. And just breathe here. Nesting that left shoulder inside this left leg. Around the outside of the right foot down. Just staying here for one more breath. Good. And then releasing the hands to the lower back. Sweep the arms up overhead. As we do so, pivot onto the ball of the right foot. Reach the arms up. Good. Exhale, hands through heart center. Find that still point to focus on. Hinge forwards, coming up to our warrior 3. Good. Finding your balance. Squeeze the inner thighs, right toes drawn towards the knees. We're nice and strong through that right thigh. Keep your core nice and active and find your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. From here, soften the left knee, right foot steps forward, chair pose. Good. Weight back into the heels, nice and light with the toes. Good. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Just make sure you can see your toes over the knee. That's it. Sit down a little bit more. Now from here, inhale, left arm up overhead, left arm behind. Inhale, right arm up, right arm in front. So finding that twist. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. That's it. Good. Keep the weight coming back into the heel. So try to avoid tipping forwards too much. Squeeze the core. Good. Staying here for one more breath. Good. Inhale, bring the hands back to your heart center. Gaze down at the legs. Ground the weight down into this left leg. Right leg steps all the way back into our high lunge. Sweep the arms up overhead. Good. Exhale, release the hands down. This time you're going to pivot to your right. So the left leg is going to stay in front, pivot all the way to the right, and then toes in, heels out. As it soften into the knees, hands to your hips. As we inhale, come up to standing. Good. This time bring the hands back out to the side. Push into the outside edges of the feet. Squeeze, lift up, inhale. Exhale, weight comes forward as we hinge at the hips, folding all the way down. This time, either bring your hands to your shins, the ankles, or the outside edges of the feet, using your arm strength just to encourage a little bit more depth through your wide leg forward fold. Release through the head and the neck. Keep the weight coming forward. Squeeze the front thighs. Lift the hips up nice and high towards the ceiling. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Staying here for one more breath. Good. Then bring the hands forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. We're going to pivot back to the left. So left leg comes in front, right leg behind. Inhale, come up to our high lunge. Reach the arms up overhead. Good. Hands come to your heart center. Right leg steps forward. Come into our standing position. And then interlace the thumbs. Reach up. Inhale. Good. And then the hips come to the right first this time, and then arms to the left. Good. Draw that right shoulder back. Push the hips out. Good. Squeeze the tummy. Keep that right shoulder drawn back. Good. Inhale to come up. Exhale to the other side. Push the hips out to the left. Draw that left shoulder back. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands through your heart center, and then just come to the middle of your mat again, coming to our tree pose. So ground down for this right leg. Hands to your heart center, come to the left tiptoes. Either keep the left foot at the right ankle, the inner shin, or up to the inner thigh. Draw the left knee back. Good. And then push your hands towards each other. Good. Find that still point. Either stay here or reach the arms up overhead. Engage the core. Find length through the torso. Softening the shoulders. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Staying here for one more breath. Good. And then exhale, release the hands to heart center. Lift the left leg up and place it down. And then just coming to the top of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to your shins. Really squeeze the shoulder blade. Gaze forward. Exhale, release. Ground the hands, bend the knees. Left leg steps back first this time, followed by the right leg in your plank. Good. And then from here, the knees come down on top of the toes. Exhale, come to your child's pose. But either with the knees wide or with the knees together, as we soften the head down, just take 5 breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling here. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Just staying here for one more breath. Good. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders, push yourself up. And then from here, you should be okay in terms of your distancing, but I'm just going to show you this way what we're going to do. So come up to a kneeling position, and then the right leg is going to come out to the side. That's it. So just make sure that the left knee's underneath the hip, and then from here push into the outside edge of the right foot as much as you can. And then ground the right hand down on the outer right thigh. Inhale, left arm up, reach up. Exhale, side bend over. Good. Inhale to come up, and then we're going to exhale, fold down forward, push the hips back behind us. So we're going to come through a little flow like this. Inhale to come forward, reach the arms up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Sorry. Inhale, come up. Exhale, coming forward, push the hips back. Good, softening down. Inhale to come up. Exhale, side bend. Good, 2 more times. Inhale to come up. Exhale, softening down. Good. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, side bend. Really nice. Well done. Last time. Inhale to come up. Exhale to come down. Good. Inhale to come up. Good. Then release the hands down, and then from here, you're going to step the right leg forward. The left knee is behind. That's it. So just bring the right leg all the way to the top of the mat. Perfect. That's it, yeah. And then lift the right knee. That's it. Coming into a low lunge. So keep that right knee as much over the ankle as you can. Softening the hips down. Then we're going to transition from our lunge, shift the hips back to our half lunge. Find a little bit of length for that right leg. Toes draw back towards the knee. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to come back. So using your breath, your whole inhale breath, transition to your low lunge. Then finding a little bit more depth each time. Your whole exhale breath, transition to your half lunge. Good. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, come back. We're going to hold it here. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, walk the hand over to the right hand side. That's it. Just feel a twist, and you're breathing in here. Breathing in. And breathe out. Squeeze in the thighs together. Inhale. And exhale. Just staying here for one more. Good. And then we're going to come back. Rebend that right knee. And then from here, we're going to walk the right foot to the outside edge of the mat, bringing both hands inside this right leg. That's it. Good. And then just bring a little bit of movement, side to side, forward, back, as we just ease into the hips. If it's uncomfortable with the left knee, you can roll the mat and create a little bit of padding. And then just find that space in your lizard. Good. And then pausing here, and then whatever variation you've got in your practice, you can either stay here, you can maybe come down onto your forearms, you can maybe tuck the left toes, lift the left knee up, or both. Whatever feels good for you. Focusing on your breath and breathing into wherever you're feeling it. Try and soften the shoulders. Breathe, everyone. Staying here for 2 more breaths. If you are on your forearms, push up, good. And then from here, turn the right toe towards 1 to 2 o'clock. That's it. And then come to the outside edge of the right foot. Round the left hand down underneath the shoulder. Come back, show you this way. And then your right hand is going to come between the knee and the hip. Try to avoid being on the knee directly. Just encourage that right leg to open out slightly. Draw the right shoulder back. That's it. Breathing in and breathing out. Just take that breath wherever you're feeling it. Sound effects are welcome. Breathing. Breathing in. Look at my snap. Okay. Yeah, maybe don't go as deep as you're breathing. Come on, just breathe. Yeah. That's it. One more breath here. And then shifting the hips back, bring that right foot back in between the hands, and then we're going to step the right knee back, and then come to our kneeling position again, and then this time the left leg's going to step out and come all the way up. That's it, left, and then just right knees underneath the right hip, pushing the outside edge of the left foot, Left hand grounds down as we inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, side bend. Good. Inhale to come up. Exhale, hands come down as we send the hips back. Nice. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, side bend. Good. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hips back, arms come down. Good. Inhale to reach up 2 more times. Exhale. Nice. Inhale to come up. Exhale, release the hips back. Inhale to come up. Last time, exhale. Good. Inhale to come up. Exhale, release down, hips come back. Good. Inhale to come up, and then your left foot is going to come to the top of the mat, coming into our lunge. So keep the left knee bent as much over the ankle as you can as you soften into the hip. This is our inhale, then our exhale, we're going to shift back, lengthen the left leg as we draw the left toes up towards the knee. Good. Inhale to transition back to your low lunge, softening the hips down. Good. Exhale to shift back. Walking the hands back, not forcing this left knee straight, little micro bend. Inhale to come forwards. Good. Exhale to come back. Nice. Last time, inhale to come forwards. As we come back, we're going to hold it. Take a deep breath in, find length through the spine, then walk the hands over to the left-hand side, coming into a little twist. Good. Breathing in and breathing out. Just take that breath through if you're feeling that tightness in the body. Maybe the left hip, maybe the hamstrings, maybe everywhere. Breathe in. Good. One more breath here. Good. And then inhale to come back to center. We bend into that left knee and then walk this left foot to the outside edge of the mat, coming into our lizard. So ground the hands down inside and just bring a little bit of movement before we hold it first. So maybe shift the hips side to side, maybe forwards, backwards, circles. Anything that just feels like you're easing a little bit more into those hips before we find a static hold. Good. And then pause here. Take a deep breath in, and then whichever variation you did last time, coming into that. So if you came down onto your forearm, come down onto your forearms. If you lifted the back knee, lift the back knee. And just breathe here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Soften that right hip down. Good. Where can you put that space in the body? Soften the jaw. Good. And then if the back knee is lifted, place it down. If you're on your forearms, push up. And then from here, the left toes are going to turn to the left floor. Ground the right hand down underneath the shoulder, and the left hand comes between the knee and the hip to make sure you're not on the knee yourself, but you just encourage that left leg to open out. As you rotate around to the left on the left shoulder back. Nice. Just take deep breaths in here and deep breaths out. Inhale. Softening the hips, and then we exhale. So if you're feeling resistant, coming back to that inhale breath for 4, and then exhale for 5. So staying here for 2 more breaths. And then from here, ground the left hand down. Shift the hips back as we walk the left foot underneath, in between the hands again. Left knee slides underneath the left hip. Good. And then coming into your child's pose. So just send the hips back, just release to that lower back. Breathing in and breathing out here. Maybe all over the forehead again if that feels nice, just to release tension. Good. Staying here for 1 more breath. Good. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself up to kneeling position. And then slide down to one hip as you bring the legs in front of you. So we're going to come into our butterfly. So from here, bring the soles of the feet together. Knees open out. So we're going to come through 2 variations here. So the first one, roll towards the spine and bring the feet as close towards your hips as you can. Bring the hands to the feet. Take a deep breath in, find length, and then exhale, hinge forward. Use your elbows. So try to think chest forwards, finding as much length through the spine as you can. That's it. Breathing in and breathing out. Push the feet down to the floor slightly. Nice. And just take the breath to wherever you're feeling it. So this might be more in your hips, your inner thighs, soften the shoulders. Staying here for one more breath. Good. And then slowly come up. And then from here, just slide the feet further away from you. And then we're going to come into a really passive pose here. So chin touches the chest, shoulders roll, and then just let the body fold over. And then you've got the option to bring the hands underneath the calves and take hold of the feet. And then just let the head be heavy here. Let the spine round, let the shoulders soften, and let gravity draw you down. So we're not forcing any shape here. Breathing in. Breathing. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly unwinding. From here, bring the hands outside the knees, guide the knees up, and then we're going to come to a forward fold. So keep the legs out in front of you, just remove the fleshy parts underneath the sit bones. And then just bend the knees to start with here, draw the toes towards the face. As we inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forwards as much as you can, and then either take the hands to the shins or the feet. And then if you feel that this is okay, try and encourage the belly towards the thighs. Then maybe start shifting the hips back slightly, finding a little bit of length through the legs. Good. And pause here, breathing through the back body. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And just take that breath through the backs of the legs, through the hips, the lower back. And just find that place where you can breathe comfortably. So you want to feel a mild stretch. We don't want to be forcing a stretch that's too deep and that the breath is restricted or we're shaking too much. So just find a point where you can feel it, but you're not forcing your body into any positions. And just take that breath deeper and deeper into the body where you're feeling it. So be intentional with that breath flow. Good. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Letting go where you can. And then slowly coming all the way out. And then bring the hands to the mat, bend your knees and just shift your hips forward. And then really slowly we're going to transition down onto our backs. And then once we come down onto our back, just find a full body stretch first. So lengthen the legs out, reach the arms up overhead. Take a nice big deep breath in. And then exhale, release and let go. Just let the body sink. And then from here, hug the knees in towards the chest. Bring the forehead up to meet the knees as we squeeze ourselves into a tiny little ball here. Good. And then release the head, neck, shoulders down. Lengthen the left leg, but keep the right knee in towards the chest. So the left leg comes all the way down to the floor. Your left hand comes to the outside edge of the right leg. And then guide this right leg all the way over to the left, coming into a twist. And reach the right arm out of the side. Or you can bend the right elbow. Try to encourage the right shoulder to draw down, but without force here. And then you can either gaze up to the ceiling or out to the right, whatever's comfortable. As we just breathe in and out. Finding that space in the body. Staying here for 1 more breath. And then slowly transitioning onto your back. Place both feet down on the floor and just adjust the pelvis, adjust the hips and the spine before we come to the other side. And the right leg lengthens, the left knee comes in towards the chest. Right hand to the outside of the left leg. Slowly draw it across the body, keeping this left shoulder down. Keep the gaze up or out to the left. And just taking that breath wherever you're feeling it in the body. Deep breaths in and exhale to release. Soften the jaw. We're staying here for one more breath. Excellent. And slowly come back to center. Place the feet down, neutralize the pelvis and the spine. And then give yourself a body stretch again. So reach the arms up overhead, lift the legs out. And then we're going to transition it into our happy baby. So bring the knees in towards the chest to start with. Hands come to your shins. Guide the knees open towards the underarms. You can either stay here with the hands on the shins. You can bring the feet together, bring the hands to the feet, or you can also bring the feet up towards the ceiling, if that's comfortable. And then just think tailbone drawing down, shoulders softening. Sorry to all the people. Stay in stillness, or maybe bring a little bit of movement side to side.
Money let her go up to 10,000.
Ding, ding, ding. That's the money shot.
Sorry?
For yourself.
Just staying here for one more breath. And then come to stillness, and then when you're ready, release the feet down. And come to your Shavasana, your relaxation, so you can stay on your back.
This is fun to watch.
We've definitely won.
Has it doubled?
I mean, we should have had a donation just for that last bit. How long do you think you've got? How long do you think you've got?
How long do you think you've got?
What do you mean?
As in, like, how long have you got left, guys?
Oh, like 5 minutes for
Cool.
the relaxation.
Cool. All right.
Okay. So bring the arms
Ding,
up.
ding, ding.
Okay, so just bring your arms up beside you. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Close down the eyes and just let your body sink into stillness. So let it go. Coming to silence and stillness within. So just letting your body rest here, becoming heavy. Letting the hips soften, shoulders soften. And just give yourself permission to surrender here. The jaw, the face soften. Just giving this time back to yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. As you feel tension melts away, just knowing that you're being supported. So slowly just start coming back into the room, coming back into the body. Still the body reconnected in that space. Just start introducing mindful movement to the fingers, the toes, the wrists, the ankles. Maybe roll over the back of the head side to side. And then when you're ready, coming to a full body stretch. So reach the arms up overhead, Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, release and let go. Good. And then hug the knees in towards the chest, give yourself a big squeeze, thanking yourself for making it this evening, connecting your mind, your body and your breath. Release the head, neck, shoulders down, keeping the eyes closed, either roll to one side or come up through center, transitioning to a seated position, cross-legged or kneeling. We'll connect our hands to our heart center and Jali Mudra, softening the face, closing the eyes. Take a deep breath in here, and then exhale, release and let go. Connecting the hands to the crown of the head, the kind thoughts of positivity. Bringing your hands to your lips for kind words and honesty. And your hands to your heart center for love and compassion to yourself and all other beings. Thank you for joining me this evening. Well done.
Thank you. That was interesting as it was. Inspirational. Listen, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of Event Relief. Thanks, guys, for joining in. Is that part of the new office?
Yeah. Kind of.
Have a great evening. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys, good luck. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was yoga with Team 19 group. That was interesting. Hopefully you're watching along. So that takes me to the end of Event Relief 22, raising funds, supporting better mental health and wellbeing in the events industry, supporting 3 great charities, EventWell, Meeting Needs, and Make It Blue. Just want to thank everyone that watched, everyone that donated, all the fantastic event professionals that took part in all the sessions, over 50 event professionals in total. Thank you so much. Without you, it wouldn't have happened. Please keep donating. I'm going to keep the donation link open. We did reach our initial target of £5,000. It'd be great if we can push that towards 6. All that is left is for me to say thank you so much for supporting me on Event Relief. Have a great evening. I'm out of here.